Alright everybody, welcome back, and it's time to take a look at a plane which I've never covered before and which will soon be gone forever from War Thunder, unless you happen to have it now. I figured I'd put this out as a sort of last minute call just in case anybody hadn't heard or if you forgot about it. But in 3 days from this video going live on the 27th, so on the 30th of April, the R2Y2 will no longer be able to be researched. A little bit of context on why exactly these are being removed, in case you didn't know already. The R2Y2 is similar to stuff like the Panther II and the Tiger II 105. These were added a very long time ago, back when War Thunder was in its infancy, and Gaijin was trying to find ways to fill gaps in the tech tree. In this case, back in the day, the R2Y2s were the jet bombers for Japan, similar to that of, the IL-28 and the Canberra, for example. Issue is the R2Y2, and especially the V2 and V3, didn't actually exist. So the R2Y existed. It was a propeller plane, and there was a proposal to put jet engines on it. The thing is, that never actually happened because, well, 1945 Japan wasn't exactly the best place to go ahead and build any airplanes. That was the V1. The V2 and the V3, guys just completely made them up. I have no idea where they got them from. So just like with the Panther II and the Tiger II 105, Gaijin has decided to remove it from the tree since there is now a vehicle which can replace it. Of course, by this point, it has been redesignated as a fighter, and the F-84G is what's actually replacing it in the tech tree. Just like with the Tiger II 105 and the Panther II, if you already have these vehicles, you're set, you don't have to worry about it, you're keeping it forever. If you don't have them yet and you want to be able to hang on to them, all you have to do is put a single research point into it and you'll be able to continue researching it at a later date. You don't have to speed grind all three of them, in the next few days. As long as you have the first two already and put one research point into the V3, you'll keep all of them forever. But that begs the question, what exactly are you getting yourself into with the R2Y2? Now, I'm playing the R2Y2 V3. Everything I talk about and all the clips I show are going to be with the V3. And just know, all of them have similar flight models, so just the V3 has the best one. Now, if you consult statshark.net, as you can see, they all have very similar instant turn. It is the sustained turn for the V3 is just better than the other two. Flight performance-wise, this really isn't anything special, and personally, I'm not a massive fan of how it flies. The biggest reason for me, at least, is going to be the power behind it. This is a slow jet, and especially for 8.0. I mean, I checked all the fighters I could think of, and the only thing I could find that was slower than this at 8.0 was the Vampire. You're maxing out at around 860 kilometers an hour, and so that means that basically every 8.0 jet, and even a lot of planes below you, are able to pretty easily outrun you. And remember, this thing can face 9.0, and there's a lot of planes at 9.0 that will easily outrun this thing. And that's just talking about the absolute maximum top speed, not whenever you're having to bleed speed because you're turning. Most of the time in these games, if I was actually even somewhat engaged, I'd be sitting in the high 600 to low 700 kilometer an hour range, which when you're fighting sabers and MiGs basically every single game, can be a bit of an issue. And a big reason for that, and part of what really compounds the issue, is that this has a low thrust-to-weight ratio. When you combine it with the fact that it has some relatively high speed bleed while turning at higher speeds, you get a plane that doesn't like to go fast, loves to bleed a lot of speed, and also can accelerate to pick it back up. Now, what it does have in exchange for that is some actually pretty good low-speed turn. And when I say low speed, I mean below 500 kilometers an hour, especially below 400. Below 400, a lot of stuff at the battle rating can't really keep up with you in a dogfight. Of course, something like a MiG-15 BIS will, but I mean, say for example, a Seahawk, an F-86, other stuff like that, if you can bait them extremely slow, then you should be able to eke out the win. I'm still not a big fan of the way this thing flies. I like jets that have a bit more energy retention. I like ones that can also catch most of the stuff that they're seeing. But in exchange for this, pretty lackluster performance, we have the reason why this plane went up to 8.0 all the way up from 7.0 in the first place. And that is going to be the guns, because these are some pretty solid guns. Now, I do want to say I'm not the most familiar with these guns. This is actually my first time using them, so if you see me whiffing, that's why. But these have some really good overall characteristics. The biggest thing for me, at least, is the damage. One of the biggest things in guns for me is the stopping power. If I hit a shot, I want it to preferably always kill, but if not, at least, critically damage them. And I don't just mean like a crit. I mean, the plane is about to go down, or it's like incredibly damaged, and one more pass will kill them. These guns do that almost every single time. Most of my kills with these guns have been one-shots. Combine that with the fact that they also have some pretty good velocity, and crucially, they maintain that velocity for quite some time. And you have guns which can really reach out and touch people. The only real downside is that they do have some relatively low fire rate, which is why you'll see a lot of my shots, you know, they might fly through them, for example. And if I had a little bit higher fire rate, they would have been fine. But this is a great case of that low speed turn I was talking about. I just one turn inside and immediately blast the dude. This also demos something else that I personally have noticed, though this might just be me being schizo. But it seems to me that the damage model for the R2Y2 seems to be pretty strong. There have been quite a few times just like this right here where I've taken several hits, and in a lot of other jets, I wouldn't have been able to keep flying or wouldn't have been able to actually do anything against the people coming at me. But in this case, I have a crit right wingtip, and I'm also missing my left horizontal stabilizer, and the plane is still fairly controllable. I'm going 180 kilometers an hour right now, and if I was in an ME-262, I almost certainly would have spun out, and the plane is still fine. Of course, it's not really enough for me to win any, real dogfights, but I mean, it's workable. Just keep that in mind for a couple minutes from now if you watch the footage. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be asking me if they should go ahead and speed grind this in the comments down below. So just to head that off, in my opinion, you should go ahead and try and get this if you are able to. It's not worth, buying a premium and grinding the entire tree if you ask me for these jets. They're really not in the best state right now. There is always the chance that in the future, Gaijin could go ahead and maybe do them down in battle rating, make some other changes in that can make them a lot of fun. So if you care on like the more competitive sense, then for now at least, I don't really think they're that great at 8.0. I wouldn't really recommend going out and making sure you get them. If you're a collector, though, that is where the real value in these vehicles lie. Same for stuff like the Tiger II 105 and the Coelian. Unlike the Mouse, the R2Y2 is never coming back. Well, they say it's never coming back, and I'm inclined to believe them because it's been years. And the Tiger II 105, the Coelian, and the Panther II have not made a single appearance. So unless they change their mind, this is it. No one will ever be able to get this plane again after April 30th. And for me, at least, that makes this pretty cool. If this game is still going, 5-10 years from now, being able to tell the new players, hey, I have this vehicle that was removed from sale. Pretty neat. It can also be useful if you're having to worry about grinding a new rank, because Gaijin doesn't actually take these into account. And remember how I said you wouldn't be winning dogfights? The only other thing I want to mention is that technically does have some usability in ground RB. Personally, though, I would definitely say the F-84G is the better pick here. You get a single 800 kilogram bomb, and then after that, you just get your 30 mils. Really nothing special there. In any case, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I'll catch y'all next time, and peace, y'all.